Okay, so hello everyone. So today the topic we are going to discuss regarding one of the technique of statistical quality control, that is the sampling technique or sampling plans. Uh, Very interesting topic and an important topic, where the today's objective, so we can in this class we can get some information regarding the sampling plans, which is one of the technique of statistical quality control SQC. There are some plans like a single sampling plan, double sampling plan and multiple sampling plans. So out of that, regarding we discuss the single and double sampling plan, which is covered in our syllabus, and it's very simple to understood, and how the acceptance of the samples or a lot or a rejection of lot or rejection of that samples are taken place by following this method, on which they are depending on some of the parameters, so that it will be discussed in this topic. So first we discuss regarding the single sampling plan, and these are the different techniques followed to for acceptance or rejection of a lot, that is single, double and multiple sampling plans. In this main we are going to discuss single and double sampling plans. So let us focus on the first one, that is regarding single sampling plan. See, what earlier I have explained that how whenever we want to accept that lot or whenever we want to reject the lot, so during that condition, so we will take a decision that to accept or to reject the lot. Under this single sampling plan, we have to consider a one sample is considered, and based on that one sample it is got inspected. Based on that one sample we can decide to accept that lot or to reject that lot. So here, according to the statement you can read here, when a decision on acceptance or rejection of a lot is based on one sample, so it is called as a single sampling plan. It's very easy to understood. Okay, so detailedly we can explain that this type of inspection plan or this type of sampling plan is considered whenever there are large number of units are there for inspection. Generally we are mostly we consider this single sampling plan for attributes, as we have discussed in the last classes, that attributes which they are not measured, which they are not measurable physically all the dimensions, then we can choose these type of the inspection method, like go and no go measuring devices we can use to do the inspection for the attribute data. Okay, and here it means the main thing you have to get into this in a complete lot. For example, if you are having some 50 products or 100 products, out of that we are choosing only one sample is taken as a reference, and on that we are conducting all the inspection things. If it found accept picking up it randomly, so if you find it good by measuring that go with go and no go measuring devices, if it is good that sample, then we can go for the acceptance. If it is rejected part or what is some during the inspection they are not found correct, then we can go for the complete rejection of the lot is taken place here. And here this sample is drawn randomly, it's picked up randomly from a lot. Example, from 100 or 50 pieces we are picking up one sample, it is drawn, and whatever the defective sample articles of all lots will be replaced by the good articles. It means what we have to do, the rejected lots will be returned to the producer for rectification purpose. So these are the points you can see. And here in this such type of inspections, there will be an agreement between the producer and the consumer. Producer in the sense the one who produces the products who are manufacturing the products. Consumer in the sense those who are purchasing those products. Okay, so lot will be accepted only on the basis of that acceptable sample. Whatever the one sample you are selecting, that if it is accepted, which is taken from a lot randomly, that then only it will be accepted. Now if you go for the rectification, so the rectified lots will be inspected for those defects which caused for rejection or any other defects. Okay, so this is regarding a single sampling plan. It will depends, as what I have told, that it will depends on some of the parameters, like capital N is representing the lot size from which we are taking the sample randomly, picking up only one sample from that, and N is the sample size. Okay, N is the sample size, that means N number of units, how many items in a sample size. So sample in the sense not the product, one product. Sample in the sense if you picking up a sample in a 50, for example, you are taking some 5 units, the 5 units put together is a sample, one sample. So C, capital C is indicating the acceptance number. So these three are the parameters. One is lot size, sample size, and acceptance number. Can take one example here, that where the lot size considering N, capital N is 50, sample size is 5, it means it consisting of the 5 number of units. Acceptance number is 1, where this is acceptance number in the sense that is 1 out of that 5 items. If you have found one defective, it will be acceptable. If more than that, then the it fall under the some rejection part. Defects will be completely, the lot will be rejected there. Okay, like that. Otherwise what we can do, if less than that, that acceptance number less than one defective if you found, or one defective is there, then you can completely accept the lot. So the persons given here, the Dodge and Roaming, has have outlined the, here he has given some a flow chart like a single sampling plan to understood it clearly. So by considering some of the following steps, you see the first one. First, what we have to do, perform draw a sample of n pieces at randomly from a lot of size n, sample of n. So n pieces, 5 units I am taking, that it is a sample from the lot of size n. So lot in the sense it may consist of, example we are taking for 50, and next we do the inspecting the samples, that 5 units will be inspected. And second point, second procedure is, if the number of defective pieces found in the sample do not exceed C, then accept the lot. What is the C value? Acceptance number 1. What I told, that if it is not exceeding that one value, rejection value is 1, it will be accepted. If that found exceeding that lot, what happens? We will see that. And next you can see, right. So this is the following procedure. Let us see some third point here regarding this. If the case, the number of defectives found in the sample of n exceeds the C, it means out of that 5 items, that is one sample, where if it is exceeding the C value, that acceptance number is 1. If it exceeds C, yeah, what we have to do, you have to reject the lot completely. It means the 50 items it should be rejected. And what in case if it get rejected means 100% inspection method has to be established for that case, right? And reject whatever the rejected parts are there. Why? Because acceptance number it is crossing above, it is exceeding the C value, then the method what we have to follow after this is you have to go for 100% inspection of all the units which are present in that lot. Okay, therefore obviously you have to inspect the rest of the lot, whatever the complete items are there, it should be done. Now the last thing is replace or correct all the defective pieces are found. The same procedure is given in ladder. You can see whatever the defective items are there, after doing the 100% inspection, out of how many you have found the defective items, that should be taken with the good products, then it should be sent through that lot completely. It is a with good lot. So observe the thing here. So this is a flow chart for a single sampling plan. Easy to understood. What we are doing, you are inspecting a sample of n pieces, right? Sample which is consisting of n pieces, that is some 5 units like that, in a lot of 50 units. Now the number of defective found in the sample, so we are finding the number of defective units, that it will depends on the acceptance number, C equal to 1 or it is exceeding the 1, like that. It's a single sampling plan, the C value is 1. What if case it exceeds the acceptance sampling C? If it exceeds, what we have to do, we have to reject the lot. The same case you can see at the right hand side here, the number of defectives found in the sample, it does not exceeding the C, acceptance sampling, that is 1 value, then you have to accept the lot should be accepted, like that. Rejecting the lot in the sense, what you have to go next step, you have to go for 100% inspection. All the 50 units has to be inspected and all the defective particles has to be replaced with a good one. That is a simple to understood this single sampling plan. Very okay, right. Next, coming to the double sampling plan, it's quite interesting compared with the single sampling plan. So here the decision of accepting or decision of the rejection of the lot, instead of one sample, it will be based on 2 samples, more than one, consider like more than one or up to 2 samples. Okay, so 2 samples in the sense, in a sample it may consist of 5 units, like that. In another sample it may consist of 5 units. You are picking up randomly them. So 2 samples are maintained. Then what is the next procedure? So you see here, when the number of defectives in the first sample exceeds C, actually what we have done in the first sampling, if it is number of defects found is exceeding the C, the lot has to be rejected. But whereas in the double sampling plan, the number of defectives in the first sampling exceeding the C, it should not be rejected. So the decision will be postponed to the next sample. It will depends on the second sample. So there is a more chance of probability to accepting the lot. Instead of rejecting, there is a chance of probability to accepting that lot. And it will also depends on some of the parameters, like capital N is the lot size, it will depends on the lot size, and another one is the 2 samples has to be considered, that is N1 and N2. Number of pieces in the first sample, number of pieces in the second sample. C2 is the acceptance number for both the samples put together. It means in first sample, for example, you are getting 1. In second sample, you are getting the 1. So combination of both of them will put together. If it is 2, you can accept the lot. If it is exceeding, combination of both of them, if it is exceeding 2, like that, number of defectives found 2 or 3, like 4, like that, then it should be rejected. Okay, so that is the procedure. We see the point wise. First, what we have to do, inspect the first sample you have to consider, which consists of some n number of pieces. If the number of defective pieces, in the first sample, so does not exceed the C1, then accept the lot. Very simple one. Okay, if it is not exceeding the value C1 and one in that given taken sample, if it is not exceeding or not getting more than one defective part, then you accept the lot simply, it will be completed. Next case, if the number of defective pieces in the first sample exceeds if it is getting exceeding the 2 C2, so that means two defectives are found, it will be automatically reject the lot. exceed అవుతుంది, it is exceeding the C2, consider like more than 2 items are getting defective, so reject has to be done. Finally what we have to do, completely lot as rejected, then it should be sent for the 100% inspection. So out of that 50 lot, 50 number of pieces, you have to consider all the 50 pieces. You have to find the inspection has to be done, you have to find the defectives in that, and any defectives are found, that good items have to be added in that case, right? That is one thing. Next, okay, just we move on to this. You see the fourth point, if the number of defectives found in the first sample exceeds the C1, what happens here in this case? If the number of defectives found in the first sample exceeds C1, it means C1, consider that acceptance number is 1, if it is exceeding the 1, but it is not exceeding the C2. Okay, acceptance number for C2 is considered as a 2, it is not exceeding 2, it is exceeding the 1, it means one one defect is found, like that it is not crossing the 2. Then do not decide anything first. Why? Because there is another sample which has to be inspected, so do not decide anything, just you postpone that decision. Why? Because it will depends on the second sample. Okay, one defect has already found in first sample, you keep at a side, then go for checking for the second sample, that is N2, where it consists of some 5 units, like that, assume like that, from the lot for inspection. If the total number of defective items you combine together, both in first sample as well as the second sample, you have to put together, and if they do not exceed the C2, it means in the second sample also we have found only 1, so combination of the first and second sample, 1 and 1, it is 2, so 2 is acceptable level, so you can accept that lot. Okay, the work is finished. Another case, if the total number of defective items found in the first and second case combined together, for example, if first sample you got 1 and in the second sample you found 2, so combination of these two items plus 1 item, 3 items are having the defective, so you have to reject the lot. Why? Because it is crossing the acceptance limit, the C2 value. Instead of 2 items, it is getting more than the 2 items, rejected. So you have to what is the procedure? You have to inspect the total lot again. Okay, now it should be replaced with the new items which are not defective, so you can go for the 100% inspection. Okay. Whereas you see the case, if you compare with that single and double sampling plan, single sampling plan requires the inspection. Why? Because the sampling procedure is depending on only one sample. If in that sample, if you are getting more than one item is more defective, 2 items are getting defective, you have to entirely check, 100% inspection has to be done to the entirely lot for complete lot. That means more inspection is carried out in the single sampling plan if the rejection list is more. Whereas in the double sampling plan, it is based on the 2 samples and it can be accepted up to 2 defective items. So therefore the probability of acceptance is more. 2, where you just, I think you are getting that idea. Single sampling plan, if your one item is defective, more than that you are getting, it should be rejected. Whereas in double sampling plan, 2 samples are considered, one defective from one sample and other defective from other sample. You collectively put together 2 defects are there, but you are accepting that lot. So probability for acceptance is more in the double sampling plan, right? So here saving an inspecting a double sampling plan may be more than 10% compared with the single sampling plan. It is considering that saving inspection is more than 10% as compared to the single sampling plan. So hope you have got information regarding that. And just we look at the double sampling plan flow chart. It is also important. We can get a good understandable with this flow chart. So inspect a sample of N1. Two samples has to be inspected, right? Inspect a sample of N1. N number of pieces, like 5 pieces are there. If the number of defects found in first sample, if does not exceed C1 and 1 unit find out chesamandi, it is not exceeding, other than that 1 unit is defective, remaining all are safe, then simply go for accepting that lot. You can see at the bottom you are accepting the lot here. Okay, after why? Because it is does not exceeding the C value. 1 unit contain not getting more than 1 unit the value defective product, so you can accept the lot simply. Not if the case, if see exceeds, you see that the center line here, if the number of defectives found in the first sample exceeds C1 but not exceeds the C2, it means instead of 1 you got in the first sample only 2 defectives are found, then what you have to do, we have to hold that procedure. Then you depend on the second sample of which is consist of N2 pieces, second sample which is consist of N2 pieces. If the number of defects found in the first and second samples are combined, so here for example in the second sample you are not following, you are not getting any defective parts, 0. In the first sample you got 2, so it is not exceeding the C2 value, right? It does not, what happens here, if it is not exceeding, then you can accept the lot. If in the case combination of the first and second samples, in that case number of defectives are exceeding the 2, or C2 value, acceptance number is 2, if it is exceeding number of 2, 3 you are getting combination of both first and second samples. That means what happens here, you can see the chart at the right hand side here, it is exceeding the C2. What you have to do, you have to reject the lot, right? So probability of acceptance is more in this case when compared with the single sampling. You see this last one, if the right hand side flow chart, the number of defects found in first sample, it is exceeding the C2. You taking the first sample only, then you are getting more than 2 or 3 defectives like that, then you have to simply reject the lot, right? So that is the final case. After rejecting the lot, the procedure is go for the 100% inspection procedure. So these procedure regarding the single sampling and double sampling is important. Flow charts regarding the single sampling and double sampling is also important. And next we see regarding these the differences regarding single sampling and double sampling. This is also important. Just we focus on this, you will get some idea after getting understood regarding single and double sampling plans. What happened, total amount of inspection required is more, whereas the total amount of inspection required is less by 10 to 50% chances. What is the reason here? As we see single sampling plan, we are considering only one sample. In that, considering example we are taking as 5 units combination, we are considering as a one sample. In that 5 units, if you are getting more than one defective, you have to go for 100% inspection, where the total amount for that particular inspection will increases. Whereas in double sampling plan, it can be reduced. Why? Because 2 samples are considering, we have more probability chance for acceptance. If it is not crossing the 2, 1, no problem. If it is not crossing the 2, no problem, we can accept the lot. So inspection is required only when it crosses the acceptance number 2 or C2 value. So we are reducing the chances about 10 to 15%, 50% like that. Next, moving to second point, more chances for rejection of lot. More than one, defective found, so there is a rejection of lot. Whereas in double sampling plan there is a less chance of rejection. Already we have discussed that. Why? Because the plant takes the two chances. Two samples are considered. There is the acceptance number will depend. For first case, for first sample C1, second sample C2. Combination, if it is not crossing the C2 value, acceptance number C2, or more than 2 it is not exceeding defective products, then we can accept the lot. So less chance of rejection is there in double sampling plan. So cost of administration is less, as the process is increasing more. The cost of administration is here in this single sampling plan, cost of administration is less, whereas in double sampling plan it is more. And information available regarding the prevailing quality level is more, whereas in double sampling plan it is less. Why? Because more the inspection is carrying out in the single sampling plan. After rejection, I think here you will get the quality level, the information available regarding the prevailing quality level is more. You will get more the information regarding the quality of each and every product, where here we are having the less chance of getting the information. Why? Because acceptance level is more in this case. So 100% inspection done in this side is very less. Okay, and acceptability to consumer is more, and acceptability to producer is more. Why? Because you see, if in single sampling plan more than one defect you are finding out, means it has to be sent for 100% inspection, where in that you are exactly getting all the products are inspected and you can find that all the products are having the quality level is good. Then acceptance by the consumer or a customer who is there, he will accept that quality product easily. So more acceptability by the customer is more in the single sampling plan. Whereas double sampling plan, we are taking a chance that it is not exceeding that two defective products. So lot of acceptance is more at the starting stage only. And when the products are moving to the remaining products, we are not checking, right? If they are accepted, if they are sent to up to the customer point, what happens? They will reject those defective products. If any defective products are there, then it should be accepted by the producer. The defective products are returned by the consumer, that should be accepted by the producer. This chances of case is more in the double sampling plan. Okay, single sampling plan, you see, pressure on producer regarding the quality is more. Okay, regarding the quality. Why? Because we are inspecting only one item, one sampling only, where it consists of 5 or 10 units like that. So remaining units has to be taken care exactly. It should follow the quality level, that it should focus on the producer, the manufacturer which is there. So pressure inbuilt on the producer is more, whereas you see double sampling plan, the comparatively comparing to that it is less. Why? Because every time I am discussing the point that acceptance level is more in the double sampling. You can accept the lot at most of the cases. So quality, not going to check the quality at every time for each and every component. So comparatively the pressure on the producer is less in the double sampling plan. So hope you have understood all the points regarding that. So these are some of the important topics regarding that procedure and the differences and the flow charts of these single and double sampling plans. Okay, so go through this topic. This is very important. And okay, so thank you, and we'll meet in the next video class.